You've tried every diet under the sun. You've tried shakes, you've tried supplements, you've tried pills, you even tried the cabbage soup diet. Yuck. But despite all these attempts to lose weight, you regain everything you lose in the long term. Why? The problem is that diets are always destined to fail. They actually go against the latest behavior change science and what we know works for long-term weight loss maintenance. So in this video, we're going to outline 3 reasons why diets fail and what you can do instead to help you lose weight sustainably in the long term. Hey everyone, my name's Robbie. I'm a registered nutritionist here at Second Nature, and today we're talking all about why diets fail and what you can do instead to help you lose weight sustainably in the long term. We will help you get rid of your diet mentality once and for all. So let's go. So yes, reason number 1 why diets fail is that they're too strict and rigid, and they often encourage people to restrict their calories to such an extent that it triggers a starvation response in the brain. What the brain does when we restrict ourselves too much is it sends out a cascade of signals to encourage us to eat and overcompensate for the risk of famine that might be coming. So if you've ever noticed when you're on a diet that you feel famished, you feel absolutely starving, you feel ravenous, you feel deprived, that's because the brain is sending out signals to the body encouraging you to eat more. Another reason why these strict, rigid rules in diets don't work is something known as the white bear effect, which we actually discussed in our Christmas video. And it goes something like this. If I tell you not to think about a white bear, what are you going to think about? You're probably thinking about a white bear. Now, the same rule goes for food. So if a diet tells you you're not allowed to eat any carbohydrates, or you're not allowed to eat any fat or anything containing sugar or saturated fat, what are you going to think about? You're going to think about those foods. And ironically, due to the white bear effect, the thoughts relating to those foods becomes more accessible in your mind, increases the cravings for those foods, and you actually end up eating more. Counterintuitively, we actually need to eat more to help us lose weight in the long term, completely going against everything you've probably heard from the crash diet crowd. Now, this is because if you eat enough until you're comfortably full, the right kinds of foods in the right balance, you're actually still nourishing your body, you're still nourishing your mind, and you're sending the right signals to the brain that you've got enough energy. What this will then do is encourage your body to burn off excess fat sustainably over the long term, and over 1, 2, 3 years, you'll lose more weight and you'll have developed healthier eating habits in the meantime. If you click on the link in the description, we've got a 7-day meal plan trusted by the NHS that has been proven to help you lose weight in the long term. You'll get a real good feel for what it feels like to help you lose weight whilst eating delicious, nutritious food. Think about what it was like when you learnt to ride your first bike. You would have had stabilizers on it, you would have had your parents' hand on your back and on the handlebars, and you would have probably fallen off a few times in the first few weeks, had your helmet on, had your knee pads on, and eventually you would have learnt those motor skills where to the point you're riding your bike independently and probably more confidently. The same goes for food and our lifestyles. What diets tend to do is they try and change too much too soon, and it overwhelms the brain and we end up learning nothing. But if we take small steps, we're much more likely to maintain these changes and learn what we need to learn in the long term. So our advice would be to focus on just 1 or 2 things at a time. Slow yourself down and take small steps. Now, this kind of goes against our human psychology. We want to take the path of least resistance. We want things to happen quickly, but If you've been on a yo-yo diet for the last 30, 40 years, looking for those quick results, it's probably about time to find a different lasting solution. So identify your biggest barriers. It could be emotional eating, it might be cooking, it might be meal planning, it might be stress, it might be sleep. Just hone in on what you feel are the 1 or 2 biggest barriers to you leading a healthy lifestyle and focus purely on them. And then over time, you can look to expand your horizons and improve your overall healthy lifestyle. Some books we'd recommend that are great for this would be Atomic Habits by James Clear or Tiny Habits by BJ Fogg. They give you some great practical tips on how to gradually change your lifestyle over the long term. You can also join Second Nature and get coaching from our registered dietitians and nutritionists, just saying. So the final reason why diets fail is that they just tell you what to do. They don't tell you how or why you should be doing it. So they just say, eat this way because you need to lose 3 stone. Here you are, here's some recipes, go for it. They just say, exercise this, sleep this way, etc. They just tell you the what. The what is one piece of the puzzle, but we need to understand how to achieve that. And from an internal personal point of view, you also need to know why. You need to have an intrinsic motivation as to why you want to achieve this goal for it to be achieved in the long term. So what can you do instead? Well, let's identify your why. Let's help you identify some of your internal values. Now, what are values? Essentially, it's a little bit fluffy, but if goals are your destination, then values are your compass. They're where you want to get to, and they're how and why you're going to get there. So let's say you set yourself a goal, the destination, which is to lose a couple of stone or a couple of kilograms. Brilliant. Then how and why are you going to get there? That's your values. That's what's going to drive how you do that. And it's what's going to drive the why, the intrinsic motivation to keep you going, particularly on those harder days when things feel like they're unraveling. Your internal values will help drive that change. So let's work on a quick exercise together to help you identify your internal values. So how to identify your values? Number 1, name a time when you were truly happy. Number 2, what was it about that situation that made you feel so happy? And you might want to pause the video whilst you do this exercise to help. And here's an example. So I was happiest when I hiked the 3 peaks with my friends last year. Number 2, I felt so happy because I was outdoors, I felt free, it was adventurous, and I got to spend quality time with my friends, free of distraction. Now from this example, we can identify the following values: freedom and independence, accessing the outdoors and nature, adventure, friendship, being present, mindful, and not distracted. So from this exercise, from this example, we can use the values identified from this person and think, what goals should they be setting? So for example, we identified that they value freedom, independence, autonomy, adventure, friendship. So from those values, we can think, okay, what activities should they be doing more often to help align themselves with their values? Well, clearly they should get outside more. They should spend as much time with their friends as possible. They should be in nature. They should do activities that help them feel free and adventurous. The same thing can go for weight loss and just your lifestyle in general. So from this exercise, identify your values and think, okay, what goals should I be setting that go in line with the values that I've identified? Okay everyone, I hope you enjoyed the video today. And if you'd like some more information on diets, dieting, and why they fail, please head over to our website where we've got a whole host of guides and resources to help you with your weight loss journey. Now, as always, if you liked today, please comment, share, subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Bye. Happy New Year. See you soon.